Good evening, good evening. Welcome back to the Pixel Book Club. Yes, as we're going to go over the Hobbit, I'm Pixel. He is Landry Q Walker, and we're here today to talk about chapters 4, 5, and 6 of the
Yes.
Hobbit. Yes, because of the single, I'm actually going to take off this hat because
It's a little...
it's a little much. I do love it though. Yes, it's impressive. The other video is actually the only video I've ever had that has 0 views, zero likes, 0 comments, 0 everything.
Nothing.
No, nothing. It does
This
not.
is...
For all intents and purposes, it's a video that does not exist.
We are alone here.
Just like when a tree falls in the forest.
Well, so we are on, I believe.
Yes. We have to go ahead and talk about Over Hill and Underhill. Which, for the most part, is a fine chapter.
It was always, for me as a kid, a kind of a nothing chapter to a degree, you know?
Exactly, because you're going through and Bilbo doesn't have much to do except actually experience the crack opening up in the walls before all the ponies are grabbed. You kill all the ponies. All animals were harmed in the making of this novel. No, go ahead.
Until we get to the Goblin King. The Goblin King, it picks up a little for me. Like, I find the Goblin King interesting. But everything else, even I know I'm supposed to, like, oh, and the stone giants, I don't care about the stone giants.
Just stone giants going ahead and throwing boulders. Why? I don't think we get that in the movie either.
Oh no, we do. It's way too much. You go way too far with it, where the whole mountain is coming apart, and they're actually on the knees of the giant. And they're like,
Maybe. I guess I forget then, because I don't recall it at all.
One of the worst scenes in the movie. It turns out the whole mountain is a giant, and it's just over the top.
It feels like a chapter that, like, if somebody tried to write it today, they would half it. That's not to say that I think that they should. In going through the journey is part of what makes this book.
Well, that's it, right? That's every chapter is Bilbo encountering something new and wondrous, and sometimes more than one thing, and that's one of them. Like and you can't just have them. And then they got to the mountains, and a hole opened up. Boom! Like, you do have to work your way there, and it is full of peril, but it's not meant to be a big deal. It's just storming, and it sucks, and the journey's kind of miserable, and often the lightning is a little scary, and off in the distance there's giants throwing stuff. They're like, we need some shelter.
Here's the thing, though, and maybe it's something that in my mind, it's a scene that I think about when we reviewed Rank Bass. Think about it in that. When you have something that, this nice little cave is cozy, it's small, there is no deeper really, but there's a crack opening up in the wall, but you can't put the crack back. The crack came back, it wouldn't stay away. No, that's not how it works. So it's just like something that always nags me in the mind.
Well, the live action movie handled it well, and it was actually a beveled thing. It opened up, and then it would close. It was like a trap door.
Something else I love in this chapter. If I had multiple copies, I would probably like highlight in one the lines that I love the most.
That would be fun.
I think that the one that goes ahead and takes me, if I can find it, we can take a few seconds. I'll jump the goblins. No. Goblins. They make no beautiful things, but they make many clever ones. I love that line.
Such a good line.
Goblins make no beautiful things, but many clever ones. And they start talking about engines and gears and pulleys, and it's like, these aren't stupid creatures.
And, well, here's something interesting. I mean, because Tolkien really... he wrote this. There was no plan for Lord of the Rings. There was no plan of this even being part of that mythology he was creating with Silmarillion. This is a fun little fanciful child's tale. And the goblins are not as bad in his first, and I think he makes them a little worse when he did his second draft, maybe, I don't know. But here, you think about, they did not hate dwarves, especially no more than they hated everybody else and everything. And you notice, like, when they meet up with the Goblin King, the Goblin's like King is like, tell me why you're here, and Thorin's like just telling him the bare minimum, as if they are having, okay, yes, we did intrude on your domain. Really sorry. Can we just go now?
We didn't know. It's not our
Right.
fault. We just want to.
It isn't until they discover that they're carrying elf weapons that they're like, oh.
And I love talking about the Rankin Bass one. I think that they go ahead and they call them elf friends rather than friends of elves. And I like that more.
And that's
elf friends.
That's from the book. Murderers and elf friends, the great goblin shouted. Slash them, beat them, bite them, gnash them. Take them away to dark holes full of snakes and never let them see the light again. That's a great bit there.
Yep. And then you have because Gandalf comes in and he saves the day, but they don't know. It's all in the chaos, and the voice tells them, go. And then Gandalf lit up his wand. Of course it was Gandalf.
Here's interesting. Is it a wand? I was reading this going, wait, they never say staff. It's always a wand.
Then Gandalf lit up his wand.
It's wand over and over again. And I'm going through like, wait, was it wand? Like, in the original book, did Gandalf just have a wand? Or was the staff and the wand the same thing?
Maybe he considers it the same thing, because isn't there a description of him carrying a staff in the first chapter?
That's what I'm looking for actually right now, because I'm kind of curious. So, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, it's a good chapter in a basic. We're getting from point A to point B, but nothing really happens in it. It's good in the Tolkienisms of it, and you need a breather there. But it's not a memorable chapter. It's not the chapter anyone was excited about reading this as a kid, especially with the chapter that comes after it.
Riddles in the Dark. What?
I mean,
that name alone just brings something in you, right? Because
this is Riddles in the Dark. Oh yeah, this is look. We're not even that far into the book here when Riddles in the Dark happens. Like it's such a tonal shift, and this is beyond everything that's great about the introduction of Gollum, the ring, and all that. The riddles. This is Bilbo's moment. This is the moment where he steps up. He becomes who he's going to be for the rest. This is that moment where he just grows up. And but I mean, it's interesting reading this, knowing that originally Gollum wasn't written as a hobbit that had turned. He gave I think, did we talk about this in the original version of this book? He gave Bilbo the ring freely because Bilbo won the riddle game. Like,
I actually didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah. When in the first edition of this book, Gollum does just fine, you get the ring. Oh, and I'll show you the way out. Like,
yeah. This is I think this is a much, like, this is great.
Oh, yeah.
This is fantastic. And you can't help. And, like, I think about the one from Rankin Bass, but you're never going to beat Andy Serkis's interpretation.
The
splashes, my precious.
That Rankin Bass one is so terrifying, though. At the same time, like the only thing I say about Serkis's version is I've never feel very afraid of it. He's almost a little too cute, almost a little too cuddly. Like, oh man, look at little Gollum. There's something I need.
Oh no! I don't get that at all. And maybe that's because I can't. I think
it's like his skin is too smooth. Imagine if he was covered in wrinkles and he had a little bit more of an ancient cast to him.
No, because his flesh is not. It doesn't feel smooth. It feels tight to his bone. He's a skeletal mess. And you know what? Actually, somewhere, I believe it's here somewhere, I have where I found for like $10. It might be that one. I think mine's a little bigger, of Gollum.
You have that probably. This is a 6 scale one that Asmus did. You probably have the NECA one, which would be a little larger.
I do. I think that's
the NECA one's really good. This is you can't see he's holding a tiny ring. I got to get a good photo of that or something. I just added my Sauron actually 6 scale, which is giant. The video doesn't give good sense of it, but that thing is like 1.5 feet tall or 2 feet tall. Anyway,
let's go ahead and since we're in the riddles in the dark and how naturally it comes up these ancient games. What's your favorite riddle?
In this, okay. Read it. You know, like I have a kind of mixed feeling about that because there's some that are just fun. And I think the one I liked best when I was like in high school for some reason was actually, of all things, the fish one. It stuck with me. All in male, never clinking, never drinking. And I thought that was just so, it's confusing but fun. Now, like, I really like the dramatic one of time and whatnot.
I love time.
Time is brilliant. I mean,
this thing all things devours, beats, birds, beasts, trees, flowers, gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal, slays king, ruins town, and beats high mountain down. It's so dramatic. It's fantastic.
It is. Now, I wonder if I can find it right now. I have a book I've had since I was a teenager called Old English Riddles. Came out in like 1950 or something. Oh, there it is. I'm going to be right back. And you'll still be able to hear me though. This book, it's Old English Riddles from Oral Tradition. And getting right into it. Look at that. That's beautiful. 1951. And this book is basically, this is how I learned how much of the riddle game is based off something that was just this very big part of British, like, pre-technology culture. Like, you're walking down the other, hey, there's Farmer John. Hey, let's sit back and
let's have some fun.
Riddle game. The riddle game was a real thing. And this is all about it. It's a huge book of just old English riddles and some really interesting ones. And it gets into the language and how, like, this is the riddles for a bell diverge wild. This is a whole section of riddles that just the answer is bell. So the riddles for a bell diverge wildly in their choice of comparisons. The Welsh, I saw some object near to a town in a very finely made palace between earth and heaven. It has a fine tail which almost reaches to the ground, and its tongue hangs in a very large skull. It spends most of its time in silence, but sometimes it calls its friends together. Like, that's a riddle for a bell. This is where Tolkien, like, that same cultural part, he didn't literally take it from this book, because this came out shortly after The Hobbit. But, it's just, like, some of this stuff is so strange.
It's very strange. Like, even in this one, it's strange. Like, I get it. I get the one that I don't, though, and I'll admit maybe there's just some disconnect. But the one, 30 white horses on a red hill, first they champ, then they stamp, then they stand still. And Gollum answers, chestnuts, chestnuts. He hissed, teeth, my precious, but he has only 6.
Well, chestnuts means easy, in case you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that or it's an old one. It means like that's an old chestnut. He's saying
what it is. He's saying, on a hill.
Yeah, he's basically saying that's a really old riddle. Everyone knows that riddle. That's what he means when he says chestnuts.
Okay.
That's an old bit of slang I probably know better than you just because of the 30-year age difference.
I guess so.
But just to see how weird English riddles get, here's one. This is number 726 in this book. As I was going up Himple Dimple, I looked down on Dimple's dew. I saw Jack with a pack on his back, and so merrily did he go. Do you know what that is? Fox with a goose.
So they're so silly. Yeah, no, there is one also that I thought about. No legs lay on one leg, 2 legs.
That's
sat near on 3 legs, and 4 legs got some.
That's such an old one. That's such a.
But it's one like you have to. you have to fill in the blanks with such a ridiculous leap that my brain is like, this isn't a riddle. This is that's the whole thing.
The
The other one that I have a problem with, and I like it. I like it fine. A box without hinges, key or lid, yet golden treasure inside is hid. It's not a box. No egg is a box.
It's a container.
A container. If it said a container, or if it said even a chest, which is still a huge leap.
Yeah.
But it's no, it's not a box. There's no egg. That's a box.
The what is it? Have you ever heard the old kids nursery rhyme, Mary Mac, all dressed in black, black, black with silver buttons, buttons, buttons down her back, back, back? That's an old English riddle in the same vein as all of the ones that Tolkien wrote about. That has an answer. Mary Mac, all dressed in black with silver buttons down her back. That's a riddle with an answer, and the answer is really cool. Do you want to guess?
No.
Play the riddle game, Pixel?
No, I will not play your games.
It's a coffin.
Oh God.
Yeah.
God, that's dark.
But you got to bear in mind, a lot of those old nursery rhymes came about during after the plague in 1915, and so children were singing about death a lot. Yes, this sequence is brilliant because not only does it really gives Bilbo this moment to step into to allow him to become a hero. It empowers him externally and internally. It also gets this moment to really play with this weird little bit of English culture that I wouldn't have known about. So I've had this book for decades now. And it's just, the whole thing just becomes very interesting. When you just go back, they didn't even get all of these in the movie, as I recall.
No, but they did get my favorite one about time, and that's great.
Time is a brilliant riddle, but I mean, so is dark. It cannot be seen, cannot be felt, cannot be heard, cannot be smelt. It lies behind stars and under hills, and empty holes it fills. It comes first and follows after. Ends life, kills laughter. Dark. I mean, it's great stuff.
Yeah, this whole scene, and then him going ahead and accidentally just putting the ring on, just tripping over it, and Gollum just runs past.
I never liked Bilbo's little bullshit riddle at the end. Like, what have I got in my pocket?
Well, he doesn't mean to, and that's the perfect thing. Just like him saying the answer time, because he didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just fumbles, but that's the thing about halflings and luck, and it comes from that.
Here's the thing.
What it is.
Tolkien actually wrote about this, about how, because what did he say about it? Basically, he wrote about the rules of the riddle game and how Bilbo technically, while Bilbo did break the rules of the riddle game, it became de facto accepted when Gollum accepted the terms. When Gollum said, "I'll take 3 guesses."
3 guesses, yep.
Then it became allowed, because if Gollum in the strict rules of the riddle game said, "No, ask me a proper riddle or I'm going to eat you, that's not a fair question," then Bilbo would have been in the wrong. Tolkien really worked. That was the way Tolkien basically said, no, Bilbo is morally intact here. He didn't cheat. He didn't mean to do it. And the moment Gollum accepted it, then Bilbo continuing with it was no longer an invalidation of the rules.
And then Gollum goes ahead and he messes up his own rule. On the 3rd guess, he guesses 2 things.
He does cheat there at the end, which tells us something about him. There was something I was going to say about that, but what's interesting, so the first edition of The Hobbit has a very different version of the riddle game, where Gollum offers him a treasure if he gets it right, gives him the ring, and basically tells him how to get out. Even though he's grumpy about it, he honors the rules of the riddle game, which is such an important code. And this is what Tolkien did is really interesting. When he retconned his own work, when he started working on Lord of the Rings, he went back, he felt a revision of The Hobbit was necessary to make it fit this new version. And a big part of it was Gollum and the ring. That was his problem he had to solve. So he rewrote it to the version we know now. So you see little bits in there and you go, oh, this is definitely a post Lord of the Rings. Like when Bilbo has a moment when he thinks the ring is gone, he has a pang. It's already got a little bit of a hold on him, right?
Yep.
He's already like, and he feels an echo of what Gollum felt. And he's only had it for minutes. And that's great. But also
in the next chapter when he doesn't want to address it.
There's that. But check this out. This is where it gets really interesting. Tolkien, you know how Bilbo in universe writes The Hobbit?
Mhm.
The version Bilbo writes in universe is the first edition. The one where Gollum gives him the ring. In universe, Bilbo writes that, and that's his official version for years to anyone. Oh, well, he gave me the ring. I won it. And then Frodo revises it when he takes over the writing. He goes back and rewrites it to the proper true version.
That's very nice.
So both versions exist in universe within Lord of the Rings world. So I had to, okay, but yes, we see it affecting him when he doesn't. He's like, I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to, I was just
in my least favorite named chapter, out of the frying pan into the fire. It feels like that this chapter is trying to go ahead, and he even says, which we now know is out of the frying pan and into the fire. Like, why? Where are you making this connection? This isn't going to influence that at all. Like, I just don't get that. The chapter itself, I love him going ahead and just popping up in the middle of the dwarves. Holy! And then Gandalf like eyeing him down, like, how did you get out of there? But Gandalf's not even defense. Like, it's not a defense. It's a, listen, I will not continue on with you if we don't go back for Mr. Baggins. I consider him a good friend and a good fellow, and I love that.
I don't bring useless things.
I don't bring useless.
He's gonna go back into the goblin.
To the goblins, yeah. He's gonna go back where they just got out of, barely keeping everybody together. Yeah.
This is where we get one of my most one of the things I like the most in this. Now, notice that in this chapter, that people get really frustrated with. It's the eagles. Because people feel like the eagles don't make sense. The eagles are overused.
Why did the eagles fly into Mordor?
I hate that question for so many reasons. But the most important reason, forgetting all the in-universe reasons, of course, they would be killed and all that. But just from a writing perspective, the eagles are servants of Manwë. They're extensions of Manwë's will. They are the god in the machine. Dis ux machine. I can never pronounce that right, but dis ux machinimia.
Yeah, that thing.
Right. That's what they are. They only ever come in the story.
Something like that.
That's Maxima. Yeah. I can never. I can't speak. I'm a writer. I'm not a speaker. They're brilliant as an invention because they are this absurd get out of jail card that only works. And then you think about Tolkien's very Catholic lens. When the heroes have done everything for themselves that they can possibly do, they have reached the limit of everything they can do, and they're still going to lose. God intervenes. The hand of God in the form of the eagles comes in and swoops them out of danger and lifts them away and carries them to safety. It is literally the Catholic God. Whoop! Let me get you out of there. Okay, you're safe enough now.
It's also, and it obeys that rule very well, because the reason why the Lord of the Eagles notices is because there's something wrong in the forest.
Yeah.
There's wolves about. That's already a problem. But now fires are emerging because he sets the wolves on fire. I love that. I was Gandalf, setter of forest fires.
Yeah, right.
But
so it's
then when the eagles come in, it's because there's trouble. And so the Lord of the Eagles goes ahead and then notices, hey, that's not right. They pick him up, and for a long moment, everybody's terrified, even of being rescued by the eagles.
Sure,
Because they don't
Bilbo
understand.
thinks they're going to be eaten.
Yeah.
It's just that's the frying pan into the fire part. That they now it's worse. Now we've been plucked away to be eaten. But what's interesting, of course, Gandalf has nothing to do with the eagles arriving.
Nope.
He's standing up and ready to throw himself to the. Well, this is the end. He's done. Like there's nothing more they can do. He's going to take as many goblins out with him as he can as he goes, and then the eagles show up. There's no moth. I fucking hate moths. Sorry, I shouldn't be cursing on our channel. I dislike moths with an intensity that borders on fanatical. And I just don't. Gandalf summoning the eagles removes some of that divine intervention part. Like it shouldn't be him. That's something I think Jackson didn't understand. It's like this is.
Yeah, it is an act of God.
It is an act of God.
And
God will only save them when they have done everything else that they can to their limits. And that's how you know they're going to die otherwise. When Frodo and Sam get picked up at Mordor, what are they going to do? Outrace the lava?
Yeah.
No, they're done.
No. But, it's, even though I don't like the name. And the fact is that he goes ahead and he uses the direct name. And this is what we now call out of the frying pan and into the fire. Not to describe that, to go ahead and describe being chased down by goblins and the wargs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's not the birds.
Yeah.
And that's the part.
Not a great.
It's not a great title. It's not a great.
I mean, it's also coming on the heels of Riddles in the Dark. I mean, yeah, which is a great chapter title.
Yes, it is one of the best chapter titles. But no, it's still good reading. We wouldn't be talking about it if we didn't love it in some way.
No, it's wonderful reading. Yeah, it's there's a lot I like about it, and but both these chapters, the first chapter we're reviewing and the last chapter we're reviewing, have the unfortunate thing of book ending Riddles in the Dark.
Yeah, that's it.
And this was a problem they had when they were adapting this to film. It's like your most exciting scene is like a third of the way or whatever into your movie. It's like halfway through your first of 3 movies. Like it's not like you have a follow-up with Gollum, like until Lord of the Rings. He's done. So to me, there's really nothing more interesting to me in Lord of the Rings than Gollum. Gollum is a fascinating character.
I don't know. I like some of the things coming up soon, but we'll wait and talk about the queer lodgings ahead. Until then, if you, the non-existent viewer, will leave your comments down below, maybe even click on this video for a second, leave a like. It would help. We like talking about The Hobbit, and one day you will too. But until then, so long, farewell, and a good morning to you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. You do use good morning a lot.